Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about what the deku was in Infinite Stratos. So in the last year deku, it's not really an all important except for for the final scene, which is about Kendo's brand new IS. She was talking about her sister. Her sister's name is Melissa. Melissa, what is her last name again? Melissa Shinonono. They were talking about, their special IS. As in special IS, it's for, Kendo. And that IS name is called the Katsubaki, which is supposed to, well, stand toe to toe with Izuku's, Librido, IS. So, yeah. So, let's talk about what happens next. So, at the camp, I should say that actually it's not really a camp, it's more like a what's that called, just a gigantic hotel, I guess I could just call it. So Izuku is basically eating with well with the rest of his classmates. Izuku's eating the food as this. Oh god, it tastes so good. And it's the real deal. He's talking about the wasabi as she says this. As in she says this, I mean I'm talking about, Shoto. As Shoto says this. Wait, what do you mean by real deal? As she sees the wasabi, as she eats it, as she feels the spiciness, as she says this, oh no, it feels quite hot. Izuka says this, are you okay? As she says this, don't worry, it has some exquisite flavors. As Izuku looks over there, as in over there, I mean I'm talking about, Izuku looks towards, to, wait for a second. Izuku looks towards Momo as Momo says this, uh, my legs, they don't really feel so good. As Izuku says this, are you okay, Momo? As she says this, no. Izuku says this, how about you try and, just sit over there in the tables. Izuku points where, Monoma is basically staying. Monoma is eating her food at the tables. As in tables, I mean like chairs and tables. Like, to, basically, those students that are basically eating, they're basically not kneeling down. As Monoma is basically looking at Izuku. She looks a bit, mad. Izuku also looks over. Izuku also sees, Kendo also really mad. Izuku says to himself, why are they that mad? Dang, are they like really scary when they're mad? Izuku thinks in his mind, maybe they're mad because, they probably don't like the food. Yep, I'm going to, make Izuku sometimes dense and also sometimes, a bit smarter. So just deal with that. So yeah, just imagine like what happened in the anime where Izuku tries to, feed Momo as every girl starts like asking Izuku to, feed them. As Aizawa basically opens, one of the doors, or should I, what do you even call those, like those Japanese doors? Like, I should just say it's just like a door. As she says this, hey, stop playing with your food, and also just shut up. Izuku says this, shutting up. Okay, guess I'll just shut up. Izuku starts, eating the rest of his dinner, like normally. So yeah. So, for Momo, she's pretty much pouting. Izuku says this, hey Momo, because I, didn't have time to, help you finish that, maybe I can, let you stay in my room for tonight. As she says this, wait, staying in a room for tonight? She starts, like, blushing. So, yeah. So, wait for a second, guys. So, is going to be in the perspective of, well, Momo. So, Momo is getting ready to go to, well, Izuku's room. As she says this, I'm so happy that Izuku finally invited me. So, once she's, well, getting ready to, go there, well, one of the girls which she was, well, supposed to be staying with, well, looks over. She says this, "Hey guys, Momo's wearing some naughty underwear." As they said this, "Oh really? So let's strip her down and see what she's wearing underneath." As Momo starts, well, getting bashed around as she gets stripped. So yeah, just like in the anime. Wait for a second again. As one of the girls said this, "Whoa, she's wearing some like really fancy shit." And yes, I did say shit because, well, it's still an 18 plus series, and yeah. So, one of the girls said this, "Yeah, she's wearing some like French lace with like no underwire." As one of the girls said this, "Ooh la la." So, I didn't know that you're into that type of thing, Momo. As Momo said this, I'm not. Uh, as all three of the girls said this, "Ooh la la, Miss Momo's naughty." As Momo said this, I am not. I. It's just my personal preference. Yeah, That was a personal preference. It's nothing like that. So yeah, after that whole situation, she basically gets out of there. So yeah, wait for a second again. So after Momo gets out of that whole ordeal, she says this. "Ugh, that was absolutely beastly. At least I finally get to, well, have some alone time with Izuku," says Momo. As, well, well, she sees the rest of the girls being, Kendo, Bakugo, Todoroki, aka Shoto, and finally Monoma. Basically, well, leaning on the door of, of the room where both, Izuku and Miss, Miss Aizawa are going to be staying in. As Momo says this, "Wait, what are all of you girls doing?" As they basically shush her. As, well, she starts leaning on the door too, being Momo. Momo decides to, well, hear what are they doing. So yeah, wait for a second. So when Momo basically leaned into, well, what what they're going to be hearing, or at least what the girls are basically hearing. So when she leaned over and heard all of those noises, well, the noises were quite questionable. I mean questionable. So when she heard the voices of, Miss Aizawa and Izuku, there were mostly moans and, well, some questionable, what are they saying? Specifically what Izuku said, as Izuku was basically talking about, Aizawa about like pushing it a little bit harder, and for, Aizawa saying, yeah, please do it over there. Yeah, that's what they're basically hearing right now. So, when Momo heard that, she said this, "What are they doing?" As they started, leaning in a little bit more and more to hear what are they actually saying, as they broke down the door and, wait for a second. When they broke down the door, they see Izuku, well, and Aizawa, doing something weird. So, he's basically, putting his hands on her back. So, after, that whole, thing, all of the girls being Momo, Kendo, Bakugo, Monoma, and Todoroki were supposed to, well, they're going to be, sitting down and getting a scolding from, from Miss Aizawa. So, Miss Aizawa says this. So, what was so interesting about, Izuku giving me a massage? As, well, as Todoroki says this. Wait, you were giving Miss Aizawa a massage. As, Monoma said this. Oh, that's completely different than what we, thought of. Izuku says this. What you thought of? So, what did you originally think? As she says this, well, obviously we thought of as every single girl except for, Monoma basically, covers, her mouth. As, well, sh- the rest of the girls said, nothing. We were not thinking of, anything. Those nervously laughs. Like, they start, like, nervously laughing a little bit. As, Aizawa says this. So, if you're so interested in, getting a massage from, Izuku, how about this? How about one of you should, get massaged by Izuku then? As, all of the girls said this. Wait, really? As, wait for a second. So, Izuku says this. Yeah, how about this? Hey, um, wait for a second again. Izuku says this. Hey Momo, how about you go first? Ashi says this. Wait, what? I'm going first? Izuku says this. Yeah, that is why I asked, after all. So, Izuku, tells her to go onto the bed as Izuku starts massaging her. So, Izuku starts, massaging her back a little bit. Izuku starts going towards, her another part. Ashi says this. Izuku says this. Does it feel painful for you? As she says this. No. In fact, I kind of feel a bit sleepy. As when she was about to drift off to sleep, she feels something weird. Well, she feels something touching her butt as she squeals a little bit. As she says this, Izuku, what are you doing? As she looks back, as she sees Miss Aizawa. Miss Aizawa, lifts up her, what do you call those? Um, what, what do you call those? Wait, pulls up her skirt. As in skirt, I literally mean her, like, robe or whatever it's called. As she starts squealing a little bit more, Izuku looks back because Izuku doesn't want to, look over there and, try not to be a pervert. Well, Aizawa says this. Nice shade of black though. Also, this is quite inappropriate for a 15-year-old. As she says this, yeah, but, as, Aizawa says this. This. Maybe next time you should not wear that. Especially because, you're a 15-year-old. I don't want any of your, lewd desires to try and corrupt, any other, the other students. She starts blushing a lot, talking about, Momo. Momo starts, like, blushing a lot, and I mean a lot. Like, her face is becoming like a pure tomato. As for, Izuku, Izuku was still looking, away at, looking somewhere else. As Aizawa says, "Hey Zuko, can you get me a beer?" Izuku says this. Sure, Aizawa. So yeah, so Izuku starts going off as Izuku was getting drinks for her. So yeah, wait for a second. So after Izuku goes off, it's going to be in the perspective of all of the girls being Momo, Kendo, Bakugo, Monoma, and Todoroki. So yeah, so all three of the girls see Miss Aizawa start going in front of all of them as Miss Aizawa says this. So what's with the dead what's with the dead fish impression? As all of the girls said this in sync. Why did you well as well wait for a second again. As Miss Aizawa says, what do you mean by what? As she says, as one of them being Momo said this, why did you do that? Why did you lift up my skirt? As Miss Aizawa said this. I thought of something, something lewd as that would happen in our school, especially in this trip, because Izuku is after all the only boy that's allowed to use an IS, or at least the only boy that's able to use an IS at all. As Momo starts blushing a lot. For the other girls, one of them being well wait for Todoroki said this. So it's our first time actually talking to you like this before. As Aizawa basically takes a swig at a can of beer as she said this. So, what is so interesting about Izuku? As all of the girls said this, in sync. Huh? As Aizawa said this. I mean, he does have his uses. He can clean, cook, even gives really good massages. Any girl would probably be lucky to have him as his or her husband. As all of the girls said this, well, he's each of the girls get their own let's just say their own dreamscapes, I guess, their own fantasies. As they get like fantasies of them, all of them marrying Izuku. They s- all of them start blushing in sync. As Aizawa said this. Yeesh, kids. Anyway, so if you really want to date Izuku, well, at least try and wait for a second. Sorry about that. So, as Aizawa said this, you seriously think that Izuku would actually try and marry you? You really need to step up your game. Like, well, try and how do I say it? Beat any rival to the ground. As all the girls basically look at each other with glares in their faces. Especially, especially, especially Monoma. As Monoma basically says this, yeah, I'm gonna beat all of you because, after all, I did propose to him. As Aizawa said this, sorry, but he's he's not ready for that. Anyway, if you if you try and date him, well, you need to get to me first because I'm technically his adopted mother. As all of the girls said this in sync. Wait, what? Wait for a second again. As every girl, I mean, all of the girls said this. Wait, what? As one of them being Monoma said this in their head. Wait, if I marry Izuku, that means that Mentor is going to be my mother-in-law. She starts getting fired up as she thinks in her mind, yes, I shall marry Izuku so I can get a little bit more closer to Miss Aizawa. And for the rest of the girls, they think in their minds, wait, Izuku is technically Miss Aizawa's mother. So they're trying to trying to impress her soon. As an impressor, they're trying to impress her to make them Izuku's well I was about to say playmate. I was about to say playmate, but more like partners. As in partners, I mean they're gonna get married. Or at least one of them will marry him. As in one of them, I mean I'm not gonna spoil it, but well, let's just say well, all of them they're just going to marry them. marry Izuku. I'm talking about well, the girls. Wait for a sec. The ones that are going to be in Izuku's harem are going to marry Izuku all together. Like they're gonna share Izuku. So yeah. So wait for a second again. So after a bit of blushing a little bit. As in blushing, I mean they're basically all red as a tomato. Well, Aizawa says this. Alright, all of the girls basically just go back to your rooms. I feel a bit sleepy. So, yeah. All of the girls were told to basically go back to their proper rooms as they start leaving, as all of them go to sleep. So, yeah. So, wait for a second again because, actually, basically it's going to be the next day. So, yeah, it's going to be the next day. So, the next day comes as Izuku was walking around the hotel. As Izuku sees, Kendo kneeling down. Izuku comes closer. As Izuku sees rabbit ears and a sign saying "Pull me." Izuku says this. Izuku says this. So, is that as Monoma? I meant Monoma. I meant Kendo says this. I think it's better not to know. So, she starts leaving as Izuku says this. Are we really going to leave her here? Izuku looks back at at the sign and the rabbit ears. Wait for a second. So, when Kendo was leaving, Momo arrives as Momo said this. Hey, Izuku, what are you doing? As Izuku says this. Something that I'm probably going to regret. So, Izuku basically pulls on the rabbit ears as something flies off. As Momo said this, Momo said this. Izuku, what was that? Izuku says this. I fucking knew it. As the sky basically starts falling. As in the sky starts flow. As in the sky starts falling. I mean something starts falling. Up in the sky. It's in the shape of a gigantic carrot. A mechanical one at that. So, when it falls down to the ground, it creates a not so big crater. So, yeah, wait for a second. As the carrot opens up, as both Izuku and Momo see a girl. As the girl said this, if you fell for it again. Hey, it's been a long time, Izuku. This. It's been a long time, Melissa. As Melissa says this. Hey Zuki, you know where's Kendo? As Zuki says this, I think I think she went over as well wait for a second. As Melissa says this, don't worry, I got this. She brings out some sort of weird looking device. Wait for a second. So Melissa starts going to where the device tells where well where Kendo is basically where Kendo's actually is. So yeah. So she starts going to that location as she leaves Izuku and Momo in shock. As Momo said this, Izuku, who was that? As Izuku says this, that's Kendo's sister. The great and, the creator of the IS herself, Melissa. The great and powerful Melissa Shinonono, aka the worst nightmare that ever happened to me and Kendo's life. As, well, just imagine the face on Momo when she heard that it's actually, Melissa Shinonono, the creator of the IS. She's completely, in shock. Mostly because of, what what Izuku said. That that's supposed to be Melissa Shinonono, the creator of the IS. She um Momo thought of, well, the creator of the IS as something greater than that. Not like a whatever that is. So, yeah. So, let's just like move forward a little bit as it's basically, well, like everybody's basically arrived. Well, Izuku, Momo, Todoroki, Monoma, and also Bakugo. There's also, well, Miss Aizawa. There's there's also including, well, in the harem of Izuku, well, there's well, Kendo after all. So Kendo arrives as she says this. So, Melissa, do you have it already? As Izuku says this. What do you mean by have it? Kendo, as Kendo says this, well, it's something special. As, well, Melissa says this. So, here's your personal IS, my sister. As the girl said this. Wait, what? Your own personal IS? As they see IS, well, well, what what do you call it? The container that's holding the IS is opened as they see a red IS. As, well, Melissa says this. So this is your brand new personal IS. I call it the Katsubaki. Izuku's in shock, including the other girls. So yeah. So after Kendo gets into her, well, brand new personal IS, well, she starts, well, fighting with it. As in fighting with it, I mean she starts, well, trying to use the IS, her personal IS, the Katsubaki, properly. So yeah, everybody's in shock, including, well, well, Todoroki and Monoma. Todoroki's in shock because, well, this is an IS made by the creator of the original IS. She's like completely in shock, like mind blown. So yeah, wait for a second. So after a few hours of Kendo basically, well, using her brand new personal IS, Midnight starts, well, arriving there as she starts, well, screaming out, "Hey, wait for a second, Miss Aizawa, there's something important." As she looks at the phone, I'm talking about, well, Aizawa. She looks at the phone as she sees, well, some sort of alert. Apparently, there's an IS known as the Gospel, I think it was called, and apparently it's a level 8, well, disaster level type thing. Like it has a the- it's basically like a really dangerous, well, IS coming at them. And apparently it's really dangerous. Apparently it's like, a work in progress IS. But apparently it's, well, I meant mal I meant malfunctioned and basically started going on a rampage. So yeah, wait for a second. So Miss Aizawa says this. So everybody, enough of this. We're supposed to, well, we're supposed to go to, well, a special area over there. Apparently there's some sort of problem. As in that problem is this IS knows the gospel basically, well, terrorizing the, terrorizing, how do I say it? Hawaii. As in Hawaii, I mean, it already finished, well, its job of, terrorizing Hawaii, and now it's coming towards, Japan. So, Miss Aizawa also says this. Alright, everybody, well, let's go. So, yeah, so, they were brought to, well, a facility. So, they were given information about this, well, IS known as the Gospel, well, that was going to be, well, terrorizing the, well, Japan soon. Apparently going to be attacking Japan soon. So, yeah, wait for a second again. So, while they were talking about this special, well, this weird IS that's going to be attacking Japan soon, well, Izuku says this. Wait, we're going to be stopping it? As one of the girls being, well, wait for a second again. Baku said this. Does everything have to surprise you? As, well, Miss Aizawa says this. Alright, before we, well, continue this talk, well, I need all of you to, well, answer this question. Do you have any questions about this, well, special mission of yours? As one of them raises their hand, and that person is Momo. Momo said this, Miss Aizawa, I want, and, well, the information about, well, the gospel IS. As Miss Aizawa said this, understandable. So, yeah. So, after getting the information about this, well, special IS, well, apparently it's super powerful. Apparently it's a type of, well, artillery IS. But except, just imagine like, blue tears, basically Momo's IS, but give it steroids and make it extra dangerous. And also give it extra guns, like tons and tons of guns. As Momo said this, oh my god. It's it's oh god. It's able to use any type of gun. And not only that, it's able to use it's able to destroy anything in any ranges, even middle, close ranged. Isuka says this. So basically we're dealing with some sort of like dangerous IS. As all of the girls said this, yeah, pretty much. Wait for a second. As one of the girls said this, so we meet an IS that's really powerful, but not only that, we also meet an IS that's also specializes in artillery, defense, and offense. As every single girl in Izuku's harem, well, basically look at Izuku. Izuku said this. Wait, me? As the girl said this, yeah, obviously, your IS is able to use, well, these special weaponry that we never seen before in a normal IS. As for, well, wait for a second. As Melissa said this, oh, anyway, I actually wanted to ask this too. I wanted to ask about your IS, Izuku. She smiles. As she says this, I want to modify it so it can take down that IS pretty easily. And not only that, destroy it. As Izuku says this, wait, you want to see my IS? No. As she says this, oh come on Izuku. Besides, I know what your secret is. Izuku says this, wait what? She kind of turns a little bit serious. Every girl, like the girls basically look at Izuku as she says this. As in she says I'm talking about Aizawa. Aizawa says this. What do you mean by that? Um well what do you mean by that, Melissa? Says this. I know that secret IS anywhere. The Libri. It's apparently it's Italian for, or was it Latin? I kind of forgotten. But anyway, apparently it means hybrid. That surprised me for some reason. And not only that, well, your grandfather. I heard about his, death many years ago. And not only that, well, I actually co-created that IS as well. So, do you want to hear what actually happened to him after his death? Or even before his death? When he created that IS with me? She smiles. as all of the girls were basically in shock. The girls being, well, Shoto says this. Wait, what do you mean by that? As all of the girls just look at Izuku as they look back at, well, Melissa. As Melissa says this. Well, allow me to tell you a story. And that story is not going to be told on this episode because, well, this is going to be the end because, well, this episode is taking long to make. So, yeah. So, um, the story that, that Melissa's going to be telling you guys, well, it's going to be in the next video. So, yeah. So, I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.